Today, we are speaking about conversion therapy. They are forcefully made to go to these traumatizing rehabilitation programs. It's been reported that treatments in Indonesia range from freezing cold water being dumped on individuals, that there is a demon inside them that needs to be exorcised out, chemical castration with hormonal suppression, religious leaders who claim that's the way to purge someone of gender disease. Welcome to another episode of Stand Up for Love, an online web series highlighting the beautiful stories of coming out, overcoming persecution, accepting love, and openly discussing the issues close to the hearts of us in the LGBTQ+ community. I'm your host, Kai Mata, Indonesia's very own LGBTQ+ musician and advocate for the human right to love. Even as we try our best to have our voices heard, we realize there is so much more we can do for the community at large around the world, especially in supporting minorities like us. We have received such beautiful messages of support and positivity that keep us motivated to keep going forward. And we are moving forward despite the backlash and the disrespectful comments we've also received. This instance of discrimination is just one example of many in which we in the LGBTQ+ community have to live with ridicule for who we are and who we love. We as a community have been subjected to unjust treatment, whether in a job or at school or in our own family, and it is so saddening to know that's the case. Despite the hate that has been and will unfortunately continue to be poured onto us, our team is soldiering on because we know this message needs to be heard and deserves a space for you to listen. Today, we are speaking about conversion therapy. This may seem like a foreign subject for those who are not in the LGBTQ+ community, but for those in Indonesia who are a part of the queer community, it is a real thing we face every day. Conversion therapy refers to the pseudoscientific practice of attempting to change one's sexual orientation or their gender identity through religious, psychological, or physical intervention. Now, don't let the term therapy in conversion therapy confuse you. This has no therapeutic benefits to speak of for the participants who receive it. There are a variety of forms of conversion therapy LGBTQ+ individuals are forced to face, whether it be religious intervention through prayer and spiritual guidance, or on more extreme cases, chemical castration with hormonal suppression. It is grim to know that there are so many solutions being peddled for one to choose from. Psychological research and studies have shown that there is no benefit of conversion therapy. Rather, it is considered extremely traumatic and leaves people mentally and physically harmed. This is much so the case that many countries around the globe have outright banned the practice of conversion therapy, from Canada to Malta to Ecuador. Here in Indonesia, it is unfortunate that many of us are personally familiar with conversion therapy, as it is touted heavily among schools, religious institutions, the government, and family circles, saying that this is an effective cure for people like me. A highly controversial type of conversion therapy performed in Indonesia is called ruqyah. Ruqyah is a form of forced exorcism that is performed on individuals in order to purge evil spirits and demons believed to have taken possession of the afflicted individual's body. Individuals like myself who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or non-binary are often perceived to be under the influence of these so-called evil spirits and demons, and thus it needs to be exorcised out of their bodies. Sadly, many people here are pressured into thinking that something is gravely wrong with them, and therefore they are forcefully made to go to these traumatizing rehabilitation programs in which are meant to convert them to fit into our current day gender norms and expectations of how and who we are supposed to love. In Indonesia, it is widely believed and accepted as the norm that if one has same-sex attraction or doesn't fit into the typical gender roles, that there is a demon inside them that needs to be exorcised out through prayer and religious ceremonies. That sounds so ridiculous to more progressive countries, but I assure you it's the case here. It is unfortunately our reality. And beyond religion, the Indonesian Psychiatric Association has classified being gay or trans as a mental disorder that has the ability to be cured through proper treatment. Due to these prejudices held by society at large, the LGBTQ+ community in Indonesia is still under immense threat and scrutiny. Even though there are no federal laws that ban individuals from identifying within the LGBTQ+ community in Indonesia, that is not the case on a regional level, and that does not describe the societal pressure there is in this country to be straight. The government has been moving closer and closer to shutting us out, with proposed bills in 2020 claiming that we are sexual deviants forced into conversion therapy to cure us. Thankfully, that bill was rejected. However, we are still feeling waves of repercussions as I speak now. It's been reported that treatments in Indonesia range from being bombarded with religious views and texts while locked in a room for days, to freezing cold water being dumped on individuals by religious leaders who claim that's the way to purge someone of gender disease. How egregious is that? Victims of these treatments purport that this isn't therapy. It's just plain torture. And it's dehumanizing and belittling. We need to be very clear about what these treatments entail, the long-lasting psychological effects it has, leaving victims traumatized, and also what it means about our society at large, in which this is how we feel we can treat other people who are humans. This is torture, and it isn't meant to be tolerated in Indonesia or the rest of this world. It feels wrong to say that I am privileged that I have never had to undergo conversion therapy, and nor was I ever pressured into doing so by my family or friends or anyone else in my personal life. However, that's not the case for many Indonesians. We want to make sure that if you take away just one thing from this video, it's that conversion therapy is actually just plain torture. It's heartbreaking to know so many people in this country are subjected to dehumanizing treatment just because of who they love or who they are. We want to put an end to this unjust treatment of LGBTQ+ people in Indonesia and LGBTQ+ people around the world. Therefore, we are reaching out to you. We want these experiences to be known and for our voices to be heard, because many people in Indonesia unfortunately feel silent and unable to speak at this moment. We hope you in the international community can stand with us on this issue until more Indonesians feel they have the right and the strength to stand up for themselves. If this video has moved you in any way, please tag us at Pelangi Nusantara and make sure to share and comment. We want to hear from you. Every small effort counts, and we thank you sincerely from the bottom of our hearts. Please leave a comment down below with what you think. Subscribe if you enjoy what we are putting out there, and make sure that you remember that you are worthy of living, worthy of loving, and worthy of being loved.